welcome everyone to another session of the Espresso series. We've got a wonderful special guest, Josh Tesolin. We're now calling you, Josh, the Trusted Agent of the Year. You know, you've reached another milestone, becoming a trusted agent. We'll get to that. But how are you going? I hear you've got some news. I'm not sure whether you're ready to. You've been busy. Let's put it that way.
It's been a crazy week and a bit. So I got a lot of news to share with everyone. I'll be bringing them that at the end of the week. So everyone stay tuned for that Friday.
Awesome. All right. So some big news coming up. But hey, mate, what I really wanted to talk to you about is, as I said, we sort of half tongue in cheek, but very serious. The idea of being a trusted agent, and not only a trusted agent, but the agent of the year. What staggers me, I think, about you and what you've achieved over the last 12 months is you've sold over 160 properties, which is a feat unto itself. But you've requested a review from every single one of those sellers. How important is that trusted relationship and that transparency that you build with your clients? It seems like it's very important to you.
Oh, look, it's probably everything, mate. Frequency builds trust. The more customers and happy customers you've got, the more continued business that you're going to receive. And I think being in a customer service industry, which we are, being in real estate, which is sales and service, helping clients, mate, getting a good result for someone, showcasing that on a platform, sharing that to the next vendor and saying, hey, I've got 100% of my reviews that I've requested. I've got an RMA score of close to 99%. If you list with me, this is what other clients have had to say. This is their experience, and this is what you're going to receive as well. Giving them that information, showing them the RMA score, showing them that you're a trusted agent goes a long way to getting business, especially for myself. Like, I've only been selling properties for 4 years. I've been in real estate for 6. So I don't have 30 years to back up and say, look, I've got 30 years of experience. I can say to them, in the last 12 months, I've sold 160 houses. Over that, I've got every single basically client who's written me a recommendation. This is what they had to say. And this is what I can do for you. It builds rapport, frequency builds trust, and the consumer loves to know feedback, and Rate My Agent for me has provided that platform. So, mate, works very well, gets me a lot of business.
Yeah, mate, it's amazing. It's something at Rate My Agent we've been struggling with for a while. You've heard it before, and I've heard it before. This garbage about agents being the least trusted people out there. You've got politicians and used car salesmen and all that sort of stuff, and we sort of call it the crown jewel, because I just don't agree with the perception. There's a perception that agents aren't trustworthy, but demonstrating that trust is become, for me, as I said, it's like the crown jewel of trying to win business is demonstrating that trust.
I agree. And I think that's very important. As you said, we've all heard the feedback myself from vendors, you can pick and choose who writes your reviews. Are you really getting those reviews from everyone? Are you holding back from some clients that, might not have something positive to say? I'm extremely proud to say every single client has had a review requested. Now, from that, I've had 99 come back and obviously write me a review, which is fantastic. And I think not that I'm putting other agents down by any means, but it sets you apart from other agents. Not only did I win the #1 in Australia, I've got that trusted agents badge now that rarely anyone has got. And what that means is that I'm completely honest, I'm upfront, I'm transparent. This is what the clients are saying, and that's going to get me in more doors. If you get me in more doors, I've got more customers, I've got more happy clients. That's going to continue and form new business. So for me, half my listing presentation is pretty much just showing this is how many I sell, but this is how many reviews I've actually received. And this is my RMA score. And this is how I rank amongst others. I won #1 in Australia. Yes, but this is what the clients had to say in between for me to achieve that award. And vendors love it, mate. Like, through the promoter campaigns that I use a lot through Rate My Agent, which boosts it. Obviously, there's a new button now where you click it and it goes straight to Google on our Google reviews as well. It's linked to domain as well. It comes up on my domain profile. People really, you have to leverage it. It's sort of like you can squeeze the lemon so far. Only some people become complacent and a little bit lazy and maybe don't request all their reviews. I find find that sort of criminal. Like the more reviews that you're getting can only benefit you. It's not going to be negative. And look, let's address the elephant in the room. Sometimes if you were to get a negative review, sometimes that's constructive criticism. And for me, some of the best reviews that I've received haven't necessarily been 5 stars. Maybe it's been 4 stars or 4.5 stars. And they've said, we got a great result through Josh, but we found out this in the campaign. It maybe wasn't the greatest result, but during the tough market, Josh still got the job done. People love raw and authentic. I don't expect every review to say, Josh is number one, Josh is number one. There's going to be some raw facts in between there. And I think requesting 100% of the reviews has built that trust with my clients.
That comment you just made then, that people like raw and authentic.
Yep.
I think that is the key, because people don't expect perfection. There's the old saying that it's not the mistakes we make, it's how we deal with them,
Correct.
And that's what customers want to see. They don't expect perfection, but hey, if you do make a mistake, what did you do to resolve it?
Correct.
I think the other interesting one that you've sort of touched on, like I've seen within our platform, we've got actually the number of trusted agents is really growing. It's been phenomenal. The number of trusted agents who are coming back and saying, actually, I do want complete transparency, and hooking up automated review requests, which get, so you don't have to do it, all those sorts of things.
Correct.
But then I've seen some people that are trusted, but still have RMA scores that are around 50%. So what do you do? I mean, you request them all, but bloody hell, you get everyone to write. And a lot of agents tell me, it's really hard to get people to take the time to write a review, and you completely buck that idea.
Yeah, look, that trend with me just doesn't exist. So how I do it, I set it up in the listing presentation. Like if you were selling your place, Mark, and said, Josh, if you were to get me a great result, I'd say, look, Mark, if I was to get you that great result, you'd be happy to recommend me. And I'd ask the question before I've even got the listing. And I said, if I got you a great result, Mark, you were really happy, I'm sure you could spare 5 minutes on your mobile phone or your laptop just to write a few words about your experience, because that to me is what this is about. And then if I sold your place, I would, as soon as the property goes unconditional, as in we put the sold sticker up, I'll then send you a reminder text and say, hey, Mark, I'm just going to follow up and send you that review, which we spoke about prior to selling your house. Here's the link. I've also sent it in email, and I've also put your mobile number. So you're going to receive it probably on 3 platforms. If I don't receive the review within 24 hours, I'll just write them another text and say, hey guys, it really means a lot. I'd love to share your story with others. And for me to do that, if you could just take the time for me and let me know when it's completed, just so I can send it off to all of my future clients. Then the next day, and I say, hey, Mark, mate, just following up again. If you get a chance, do you think it will be done this weekend? I'll constantly ask. I'm not forcing them to do it. I'm not badgering them to do it. But at the end of the day, the review for me means everything, because my RMA score goes up. I can share it with other clients, and it's live, up-to-date stuff. Now, that content's probably a better word. It's live, up-to-date content. As soon as I get a review, my process, I'll screenshot the review, I'll get the link, and I'll send it to all my potential vendors in the future. And I say, I've just sold Mark's house. This was the review that he wrote. Here's his mobile number, and here's also their video testimonial. Here's a sold by photo as well. So I'm getting them on every single platform, because lots of people can say, oh, your mum or your sister wrote that review. Your girlfriend wrote that review. And I'll say they didn't. Here's the photo, here's the video, and here's their mobile number to back it up. They can't say anything once you've done that.
I'm going to show something. I'm going to share my screen, because it's a really good point. What I love about what you do on your profile is, I hope everyone can see that, is you upload these sold selfies as well.
Yep, there they are, mate. Yep.
I mean, you can't be more genuine than that. I mean, these are real people who have taken the time. Review, there's a photo. I mean, I don't know, that's not your sister or not your mum. No. I don't think standing there. No. And absolutely, that is the real power. But the other thing you said, which is really simple, ask for the review. If you don't just send it.
Ask. It's like if you went to the nightclub and you're single and you want to dance with a girl or buy her a drink. If you don't go up to her and say, would you like to get a drink, or what's your favorite drink? They're not going to ask you. So at the end of the day, follow-up's important. I ask for the business in terms of the listing. I ask for the review. I follow up. And consistency is everything. When do you reckon you could write me the review? Could you do it by this weekend? It would be awesome if I could share it with my clients. The quicker it gets it done. And also the euphoria of the sale is at its heightened point. You get through a cooling off period. It's after the auction. They're all excited. They're happy. If you wait until settlement, things happen. people's mindsets change. They've got to move. They've got to get the removalist. Something might happen with the final inspection that might put people off here or there. The buyer requests for something out of the ordinary that gets people upset. So once you do it at that euphoric moment, the sold sticker goes up. We can celebrate. Here's a small little token gift to remember the sale. And if you could write me that review, that would be awesome. That's when they usually come. I wish there was a little timer on when I send them to when I receive them. I reckon it's probably well within 24 hours. And that's the best time to strike.
It's actually a really good point. It's maybe something we should do in Rate My Agent. But just for everyone watching, I just want to, for everyone who hasn't seen it, this is where Josh is now getting this recognition,
Correct.
Getting this trusted agent badge, which is clearly showing to customers that he requests reviews from 100% of vendors. He's also getting this highly recommended badge, which essentially what it means is that his RMA score is in the top 20% across every agent across the country, So when I go into Josh's dashboard here, I hope you don't mind me showing this, Josh.
No worries.
We can clearly see that Josh has requested 164 reviews, 100%, and he's received 161. He's now qualified for the trusted agent badge. He's qualified for the highly recommended badge. And bloody, your RMA score, it's almost perfect. It's almost 3 times the national average. We get a review for more than 1 in 3 properties sold across the country, but Josh's RMA score is way up there. So, and what we plan to do, I think you'd agree with this, Josh. We haven't got it yet, but in Promoter, you'd love to have the trusted agent badge in your Promoter advertising and in your Facebook advertising, and it's all coming.
Would love to have that. And I think that's what's exciting for the future for the customers who use Rate My Agent and for the platform itself. The platform's going to get a lot more trusted by people, for people who have those doubts and for people that may have questions and be a little bit skeptical. We're here to show that this is what the client says, and this is the beautiful platform that we've got to showcase it. And this is why Rate My Agent has got the most reviews on any website. This is why all the agents use the site. This is why vendors rely on the data and what people say to pick an agent. And I think I saw a statistic, I think it was a 50 or 60% of people chose their agent once they read some reviews from Rate My Agent, which I think is extremely, like if we go back 10 years ago, how were people selecting agents based on how many sales they made, based on how long they've been in the industry? Now it's, what's the customer satisfaction? Who's actually having the best experience? And that is through the site. So I think through promoter campaigns, through Google now, a domain, it's all linked within the one. I think that's becoming increasingly important to getting business. When you're pitching for a listing, this is how many I sold, but this is how many reviews I've received. And that's going to go. And for me, I'm living proof. I go into the listing appointment, I go through my process and I show what's working and I show what the clients say and I ask for the business and I'll sign it up and, the merry-go-round continues to the next one. So that's the process.
And mate, after 4 years, but what are you, 25 years old?
25.
So I should be, anyway, I can tell you, right? 25 years old and selling 160 odd properties a year, it's working. I should ask you, maybe you should come and work for Rate My Agent.
Maybe in the future, mate.
You sell it pretty well. To anyone who's watching, look, if you've got any questions, the Espresso series is short, sharp, and sweet. But if anyone's got any questions, feel free to flick them through now. But again, I think the way you operate, Josh, a big part of this is about selling yourself, selling how good, if you can sell yourself so well and why you're so trusted and why you're so good at your job, it just has that flow and effect that, oh, wow, this guy actually sells, even chasing the review. Geez, he's chasing everything. And that's I guess that's ingrained in the way that you, the way you chase a buyer or the way you chase a listing and the way you chase an extra dollar. I mean, really, it's, if you can chase an extra grand for your customer, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
And that's what it's all about. And I think in an industry where a lot of agents can talk a lot, actions and reviews speak a lot louder than just what the agent can, come out of their mouth. I'm the best agent in the area. Based on what? Did you win? Who won the agent of the year for the suburb? Who won it for the state? Who won it for the country? Why? How did they win it? So I think having the reviews is the evidence you need for clients to show and prove why you're the best agent for the job. I think we had a question just come through there.
We do. We got a question from Kimmy saying, how has the awards helped you build trust and business and also enhance your profile in the industry?
Yeah, greatly. I walk into the listing appointment, have a look at the house, and I'll actively show them and say, look, I'm extremely proud of myself and obviously my team that has achieved the following awards. I'd love to go through. I won Quakers Hill, I won Acacia Gardens. I was humbled to win Sydney, New South Wales, and even more Australia. Now that's out of over 50,000 agents. And the reason why I won it is because of my customers and what my customers had to say. Here they are. And I actively show as well, Mark. I show examples. I pull up regularly, rate my agent's website and say, here you go. Here's a couple of reviews. Are you okay if I read them out? This is what a vendor had to say. Here's the photo. Here's the review. And here's the video testimonial. And imagine if you're in a room with me and you've had 10 testimonials, showed to you and you think to yourself, oh my God, you know what? This guy is ultra impressive, walks the walk, talks the talk. Josh, we're happy to go ahead with you. You've secured the listing. You get them a great result. You deliver on what you promise. You get a review, and then you go to the next one. And that's why I'm a high volume agent, is because I have the ability of leveraging one client who had a great experience to give that to the next client and then repeat over and over.
Yeah, I was just going to show, I won't share screen, but when I look at the map of where you've got reviews, it's so compelling,
Yeah.
like almost every street in Quakers Hill has got a little dot. Actually, I'll show it now. It's just come up on my screen. But when you look at how compelling this is, if I click on here into Quakers Hill and I drill down, I mean, if you show that to a customer, you probably haven't seen that before.
No, my God.
And look, not everyone, I think it's really important that not everyone out there is selling 160 properties and that's not really what it's all about. But if you're selling sort of 10, 15, 20 properties a year, which is sort of where the average agent sits, a good quality average agent selling somewhere between 15 to 20 properties a year, and you're getting 15 to 20 reviews a year, and they're just showing on a map like this, and it's almost like, dare I say, like a virus across the suburb you're working in. It becomes so compelling. We do have another question from Rick here. Josh, when you first started, how did you get listings before you could even get reviews?
Yep. So if we dial it right back, I suppose I had to make sure everyone knew who I was. So I was the new kid in the area with a lot of energy, but not a lot of profile. So how I built that up, a lot of door knocking, letting people know around listeds and solds. Hi, I'm Josh Tesolin. One's just listed on the street. Would you like to know the sale price? And collecting data from people. Expired listings were fantastic. I'd door knock and say, right now, your home hasn't sold. After 3 months, you've put the signboard down and, closed your agency agreement with someone else. If I gave you a new approach with new marketing, would you be happy to sell again if the price was right? Asking for the business again. Very similar how I asked for the review, I asked for the business. Also a lot of cold calls. Hi, I'm Josh. Have you thought of selling? This is what the market's doing. You're not selling now. Would you like to keep in contact in future? And then, as I said, it's frequency builds trust. The more calls you make, the higher success rate and listing appointments you're going to be in. Very similar to the reviews. It's all the same algorithm, just in different forms. The more reviews you request, the more reviews you're going to receive, the more clients you can send it to, the more, RMA score you're going to have, the trusted agents badge, win the suburb agent of the year. And guess what? All of a sudden your business starts to be more profitable. More people get to know you. That's how I got business. I remember my first ever listing that I got, I leveraged that into a further 3 years later. What are we talking? Over 300 houses. So it all starts with one and you go from there.
Well, I think what you're saying, it compounds on itself.
Yep.
You keep doing the same thing. You get one, you use that, you get two, you use that, and it compounds on itself. I think in a couple of weeks, we want to have another session with you and talk with hopefully Tom, your coach, Tom Panos will come on and join us, because I think, again, that trusting relationship that you have with Tom, but really briefly, because we don't want to go too far into this, but how important is a coach, to help you build that momentum?
Extremely important. I think everyone's got to be guided and led somewhere. And for me, it was obviously Tom Panos, great supporter of mine, being young in the industry, sort of took me under his wing and said, Josh, this is what you've got to do. This is what works for some clients. It's an individualized approach as well. It's not one shoe fits all. And I think with my situation, I had extreme energy. I had extreme enthusiasm, but I just needed to harness that into what to say, what to do. And as I said, Tom guided me, told me, you've got to make mistakes to learn, fail, get better, improve. How to market yourself hard was huge through Tom as well. And as I said, he's guided me. He was with me at the awards when I won. And that was a great moment, not just for me, you know, my team, my assistant Alex as well. Like Alex is a young agent. He's me sort of 5 years ago, you know, 21 years of age, only been with me about 4 or 5 months now. He'll become his own agent within a couple of years' time underneath my banner. And that's exciting for him, learning the trade, learning what to do. And I'll sort of be his coach through this process. So it's an integral part, teamwork to make the dream work as well.
I think that's a really good point. You know, everyone can see the energy you've got. You've got energy. It reminds me of my 10-year-old son, actually. He's got more energy than I know what to do with. But I think what you're saying, that energy, you can't teach that energy, but when you combine that with some really great knowledge and guidance, which is what Tom has given you and got you to focus that energy, it seems to have, you know, it's worked really well. As I said, in a couple of weeks, we'd love to do a second session and we'll get Tom involved. Susan just asked you, just to clarify, RMA reviews feed over to domains, agent profiles. They absolutely do via our API. Josh knows, but also Josh touched on the idea that they syndicate with Google and you know, but the idea of Rate My Agent reviews is collect them once and then syndicate them everywhere. It works really well.
It can be very confusing. Like I remember in the early days when we weren't linked to Google or to domain. And I used to ask clients, you know, can you post it on Facebook? Can you do it on Rate My Agent? Can you do it on, you know, domain? Can you do it on any other sites? You know, there's so many review sites and people would get lost. Now it's just one click of a button and, you know, share to Google, click one button, making the consumer almost, it's too easy not to do it. So I feel that now it's all automated. It's fantastic.
And it's understanding that your customer's time is valuable and making it as easy as possible. Then we've got one last question here, I think, before we wrap it up. But Harry's just asking, it's a really good question. So Victoria's going into lockdown, as everyone probably knows. So what if you were a Victorian agent, what would you be doing differently over the next 6 weeks during this lockdown?
I'll tell you the blueprint of exactly what I did when New South Wales was essentially in lockdown. Through those 2 months of lockdown for us, I sold 46 houses. Now, a lot of people look at that and think to themselves, oh my God, that's a lot. How did you do that? Like people don't do that in a whole year. I did it during COVID. Now, think of it like this. Change your mindset from being, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. There's no toilet paper. 2, this is a door. One door closes, another one opens. I did a lot more on social media in the social space. Get to put yourself out there, sort of like the newsreader. Everyone's watching the leaders from, you know, Victoria, the Premier, what's happening, what's the announcements, have they closed the borders? I'm even watching it in Sydney. So become the local expert on social media. Do a video. What are you doing for your clients during this lockdown period for Victoria? Do you have new hygiene standards? Do you have a new open home for inspection process? How are you qualifying your buyers? What I did, I qualified my buyers. Mark, you're looking at purchasing. This is your budget. You've got a pre-approval. You haven't lost your job. You're ready to buy right now. Mark, let's get you through. If I found you the right house, I'm going to show you 5 or 6. You're ready to make a deposit and buy the house today? Yes, I am. Qualify your buyers. Educate your vendors too. In this market during a lockdown, it's going to be a lot of uncertainty. If you say to them, look, if you take a lesser offer, but you're going to buy for less, it's going to be the exact same thing at the end of the day. Show them, give them. I remember Gav Rubenstein said it on ARIC years ago. Imagine in a tough market during lockdowns, there's so many doors that are open. If you close every single door, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Get to the end of the tunnel, which is getting a good result during any market. So if you can, I remember pre-election, this is going back 2018, I remember I said to myself, if I have a big year and sell over 50 houses in a really tough market, when the market gets better, which it will, real estate is like a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up. Right now, Victoria and probably Sydney's a bit better, but Victoria's a little bit on a low at the moment. Once it starts to get back up, if you get results now in a tough market and you prove to vendors who are watching, everyone's watching, maybe people are holding back from selling right now and they'll pull the trigger when it gets better. If you get results now, your business will times X times 2 or 3 when it gets better. So have that in your mind. Get results now. Give your vendors a process. Tell people what you're doing. I'm qualifying buyers. Hit them on the social space. There's probably a lot less face-to-face contact now, obviously during this lockdown period with a lot of the spread of the virus. But hit them from socials, brand yourself, and don't go quiet in the corner. Be loud, be heard.
I reckon that it's a really good point. You know, when everything softens off a little bit, that's the time to really start to get yourself out there. Because
Amp it up.
Someone taught me many years ago that, hey, when you're a little bit quiet, you know, and you know, don't worry about it because it will all come back, and that's the time to really, you know, get yourself out there, but also qualify those buyers. You know, I've had a chat with a lot of agents who said, actually, the COVID thing, the lockdown, actually made them more efficient. It actually, they'd learnt a lot about, you know, let's not deal with, I think a lot of them were saying we were spending so much time with tire kickers.
Yes.
Because we were just going through the motions. But COVID just made us say, no, I don't have time to spend with all these people. I can only spend my time with key people. So I think it's a really good point. Susan, I apologize. You've hassled me here. I missed the question, but Susan's got a question, the last one, I think. Do you have a team who finds leads, conducts open homes, private inspections, etc. for you? Do you solely concentrate on getting listings? So yeah, do you have a team behind you doing opens and drumming up business, or is it all you?
No, it's all me and my assistant Alex. So we're a team of two. As I said, we've done over 160 sales in the last 12 months, which has been great. But we take a lot on ourselves. My primary role is to list, sell, communicate with my vendors, and work with the buyers. Where Alex is probably the back end stuff, you know, doing the ads, doing the final inspections, doing the pest and building, prospecting as well. But we do everything together. Teamwork to make the dream work. I couldn't do it without him. He couldn't do it without me. Small team. We do the work of probably 5 to 6, but we enjoy it that way. We'll be looking once my announcement comes out later in the week. I'll be looking to grow my team under a new banner. So stay tuned for that. But at the moment, it's just the two of us.
Let's leave it at that. That sounds like a sales pitch. Josh is out there looking for more people. So, hey, Josh, thank you so much for your time. We all look forward to your announcement on Friday. I'd love to hear what's in store for you next. And for everyone hang on, there's one more question here. Sorry, I'm going to do it. We've sold a couple in the same street. Is it wise to pick one property to promote or all three? I don't want to create any confusion. Any comments on this?
Promote them all. Say your local specialist. Let's say it's, you know, Schofield Street, you know, the Schofield Street specialist. 3 sold. I would have full transparency. I'd get 3 reviews. I'd do it, not just 1 review. Say I've got 3 all on the same street. This is the photos. This is the video testimonials. I'd love to make you number 4. Are you thinking of selling? Name and number. Bang.
Absolutely. I 100% agree, Susan. I think that's great advice because you're just amplifying, you know, the fact that so many people within that community think you're the best agent. And if you can use those 3 sales to get a 4th sale, you know, wonderful. Susan just come back. You're so passionate about real estate, Josh. Definitely an inspiration. There you go. Beautiful.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Hey, Josh, again, thank you so much for your time. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to do this all over again. Josh is going to get Tom on board, and we're really going to talk about the idea of that trusted relationship between, you know, someone like Josh with so much bloody passion, but then getting that person who provides that guidance and that trusted relationship that you guys have built. So we look forward to that in a couple of weeks' time.
Looking forward to it, mate. Thanks for having me on. Everyone at Rate My Agent, talk to you soon. See you guys.
See you, Josh. Cheers, mate.
Bye, mate.